Welcome back to Tiny Grimes Games, and I'm here to talk to you about what I want to see out of Solforge's new UI update. And I'm not really going to call it a UI update, because let's be honest, this is the patch that saved Solforge. What they've been doing right now is kind of putting everything on hold, the new player experience, bringing in new players, and just trying to kind of hang on until that moment arrives in the end of fall when we have a new UI and all kinds of other changes come into the game. So let's go ahead and I'll talk about what I would like to see out of this patch that saves Solforge. First, don't release a buggy mess. Take your time, make it fantastic. This patch has to be so good that returning players look at it and go, wow, the game looks amazing. You know what? I need to give this a try again. You need to be able to actually tell people, I know you tried Solforge 2 years ago. You hated it. Trust me, it's way better now. So with that being said, I don't care about fall 2015. If it takes till April 2016, if it takes till June 2016, get it right. Don't rush it. Now, having said that, if you are going to delay it, bring people into the process, right? Make sure people know, okay, it's going to be delayed. This is why. Don't worry, Stoneblade. Everyone is rooting for you. Everyone wants you to get this right, to get it perfect. So take your time. Make sure it's done right. Just communicate with the people. Don't leave everyone in the dark. All right. Number 2. It has to be a smooth as butter iOS client. This is the future. The future is not how does it run on a PC. How does it run on iOS? Right now, not that great. It's functional, but it holds back a lot of the other elements of the game because there's all kinds of issues with it. With a new Unity-based client, it needs to be perfect. It needs to run amazingly well. There's no excuses here. There's no middle ground. If it doesn't run perfect on iOS, it's not the patch to save Solforge. Then it's just another patch that's going to cause continued problems. The longevity of the game relies on how it runs on iOS. Okay. Now, closely associated with this is a timer. I'm not even picky here. Just a timer. There's probably 30 different directions you could go. Any of them are fine with me. But what is a problem? Is this a bad idea to let someone time another person out for, say, 20 minutes because they're in a bad mood or someone played a card against them they don't like? Oh, you played a Wagyu? I'm going to show you. I'm not coming back for 20 minutes. What's really interesting about this problem is that for most of the strident defenders of the game, the people who love Solforge most, this is not a problem at all. So they have a really hard time sort of coming to grips with how big of an issue this really is. For people who play all the time, they're generally playing in the tournament queues. This doesn't happen nearly as much. Or they're playing over on Kalari's Ladder, and that never happens over there unless you're playing me and happen to fall asleep mid-game. All right, spoiler alert, that has happened. And I apologize to anyone who that happened to. But the real issue is for the more casual players who sort of jump into a random queue and then can't play their game. And it happens once and they go, wow, that was really annoying. It happens 2-3 times and they start going, oh, so Solforge players are told D-bags. All right, I'm not going to play this game. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, just quit that game. Just go play a game where someone doesn't do that. And again, this is the problem of the, ardent defender of Solforge. You're right, but people don't realize that. Casual players aren't the kind of people who are going to be like, all right, I'm just going to resign this game and start another one. They want to get in a game. They want to play a game. So we need some sort of timer here. I don't really care what it is. It could be 5 minutes per turn. It could be a turn bank. It could just be a button that after 5 minutes says, hey, are you still there? And if you click it, then you can continue screwing people. But at least you have to take the time to continue screwing people. Right now, you can just rage, quit the game, boom, go off and have a good time while your opponent's sitting there going, is he having iOS connectivity issues? What exactly is going on? And about 18 minutes later, no, he's just a D-bag. Okay, cool. Or it's just Tiny Grimes who fell asleep while playing me. One of the two. Whatever the case is, I don't care. I'm not picky. Pick something, go with it, and we're on our way. Now also, if we have turn timers, it may actually make best of 3 tournaments more of a reality, which would be fantastic, I think. All right, number 4, there needs to be some sort of solution to the packs, right? When we had one set, the packs were amazing. Tournament packs were amazing. It was the best way ever to build a collection. It was like the great moment in Solforge history. 2 sets, still works really well. 3 sets, that works all right. We're on 6 sets now. Going to be 7 probably with the release of a new UI, a new patch. 7 sets can't all be jammed in one pack. I dare you to tell me one game that says, hey, you like packs? You like packs with a free currency? Good news. You get everything in one pack. I can't name a game. I play a lot of games. None of them do this. It makes tournament rewards very unsatisfying. Yes, you do get silver. That's great because there's crafting. You can just immediately break everything down, go buy it with silver. But you know what? For people who don't have a full collection already, that's part of the thrill of opening packs, is thinking like, oh, I haven't got the new cards yet. I can get them in this pack maybe. If I go 4-0 in this tournament, I'm going to get a legendary, which might let me get the new cards. That would be so amazing. It just is really a bad idea to strip that away from people and just throw everything into one pack. So I really hope that some solution comes to that. And let me state this, though. I do agree that we don't want a solution that bankrupts Stoneblade, right? No one's goal is to bankrupt Stoneblade. So we're not looking for something where you can pick the pack or pick the cards or something, but it just has to be somewhat more limited than 7 or 6 sets jammed in a pack. And sets are coming pretty rapidly, so we'll quickly be up to 8, 9. What's the limit here, right? 101? I don't know. We need to find a new solution. I don't think the current one works anymore. Number 5 for me is a high-quality deck builder. The current deck builder is actually not that bad. It's definitely passable. However, it looks really dated, and I'm sure this will be resolved by the new patch. But it also needs to have more features. So the fact that you cannot show the stats for levels 2 and 3 on the PC is fairly mind-boggling. This needs to be a part of it. You need to be able to look at all the levels of the cards comparatively by just clicking a button. All right, number 6, news has to be built into the UI. People just don't go to the forums if they're not closely associated with the game. So the UI needs to have a news function. I'll be very surprised if Stoneblade doesn't have this, because it's such a great thing on their end. It gives them that opportunity to reach out to their customers and talk to them directly. Number 7, it's got to have a ladder. It's no longer that Hearthstone has a ladder and Solforge doesn't. Now it's every game has a ladder and Solforge doesn't. The dichotomy is becoming too severe. It has to have a ladder. Kaleri has done an amazing job filling this void, but it's just not enough, because then it becomes a situation where it's like the really dedicated players know to look around and find stuff and go to Kalari's ladder, and then all the dedicated players are like having this good time together, and then all the poor non-dedicated players, the casuals who don't really know what's going on, they have no access to this, they have no idea what's happening. There is no ladder as far as they're concerned. It needs to be in the game, and there needs to be rewards specifically associated with the ladder, much like Hearthstone. There's just so many opportunities there to use a ladder as a means to encourage people to continually come back, and not just come back for that month's rewards, but continually, even if they stop playing halfway through the month and sort of quit the game and then go, oh wait, I got to come back next month for my rewards, and then you get one more chance to lure them back every month with a new card set, things like that. Another thing that needs to come in, number 8, is microtransactions, and this is really critical. A new UI should open up new revenue streams for Stoneblade, and these aren't revenue streams that exploit players. They're things that players want. You should be showing the card backs and selling different ones. You should be selling more avatars, more backgrounds. I have at least 20 cool ideas here. I've pitched many of them to Stoneblade in the past. So hopefully this new patch to save Solforge will open up these opportunities. And it just really is unfortunate that Stoneblade doesn't have these capabilities for more money. Stoneblade, we want you to make money. We want you to take our money. Why won't you take our money? I will give you my money right now. Just give me some of the things I want. Stoneblade really needs to be able to take advantage of that and take our money. It will help them, stay afloat, make money, become the successful company we all want to see them be. All right, number 9. And this is an obvious one, but there needs to be a new in-game UI. To be honest, I actually think the basic game board is fine in the old UI. I know a lot of other people don't like it, but it could have some more bells and whistles, make it look a little bit more modern. Hearthstone has really set the bar so high that you have to at least, you have to climb up the ladder a little bit, right? You can't just go all the way at the bottom and say, we're gonna pretend like Hearthstone doesn't exist. You have to recognize them and have a UI game board that's at least sort of cool looking. And I will say, while I said the basic game board is fine, the newish addition of the exclamation mark opening up this giant, hideous white box with plain text in it, that is one of the greatest eyesores I've seen in any game. The first time I saw that in Solforge, I just did a double take. I was like, what? This is how they're displaying this basic functionality that Ice Grasp does 3 a turn, is this giant, horrid-looking box? Obviously, that has to go. I'm sure it will, but hopefully we won't see anything like it. Closely associated with this is the game log. The game log is useful, right? That's great. But it oftentimes looks like an inscrutable mess, especially to newer players. I just can't imagine being a guy, like, you're playing Hearthstone, you're like, I like Hearthstone. What other TCGs are out there? Click, click, clackety clack. Here's this Solforge. Oh, what did my opponent play over the last couple turns? What the heck is this thing? Yeah, I mean, especially compared to Hearthstone, the log just is a travesty. And I'm sure they will fix it, but it's something that really does need to be much different. Number 10, and this is a lot harder. There has to be a rebalance. And this, for me, is the most important thing that draws me back into Solforge. And to me, it's not necessarily go through and tweak a bunch of cards, which probably should happen if we're going to do this, but dropping the power level of the 2s and 3s across the board. This has been hinted at, and it's a really ballsy move. I think some people might view it as like a sign of weakness and admitting mistakes, like, oh, I guess their game wasn't designed as well as it should have been or something. But that's not how I view it at all. I view it as a sign of, learning from experience. You can't know in the very beginning exactly how this whole leveling mechanic is going to work as you go 6 sets down the line. Newer and different cards come out. Design space becomes different, becomes more limited. And so nothing builds confidence for me more than a willingness on a company's end to say, listen, we have figured this out now, and we're going to change it. I know we're 6 sets in, but we're changing it anyway. We're going to go across the board. We're going to fix this. And for me, what this does is it goes a long way towards removing the crazy 3.1 blowouts that drive everyone insane. Now, there's still going to be randomness in the game, and that's a good thing, right? The goal is not to take all randomness out of Solforge. Then the game wouldn't be that fun. The goal is to take out of Solforge the kick you in the balls randomness, right? I've been winning the whole game. I've outplayed my opponent on every turn. Oh, he got 2 level 3s on 3.1, and I got a level 1. Good game, sir. Nobody likes that type of randomness. If we can remove that from Solforge simply by dropping the power levels, I also think it brings in a lot more nuance. And say on level 2, thinking, well, I really want more level 2s in my deck on level 3, so I'm not drawing level 1s, instead of the current method, which is, listen, if we're going to go to level 3, and I don't have level 3s in my deck, I lose. I need to pack as many as I can, so I can be the dude that draws them on 3.1 and 3.2. Alright, number 11, the tutorial and campaign needs to be fixed, needs to be there. I mean, I'm going to say a statement that some people won't like. The campaign's not a campaign. We need a real campaign. I like the fact that it gives new players some free cards, but it's just not robust. It doesn't feel like a campaign. It feels really janky. It looks kind of ugly. What we need is something that draws in new players, not pushes them away. So a really slick-looking campaign would be amazing and sort of lure that new player in, like, look at how cool this game is. And it's really important that this is the initial impression that you're giving of Solforge. If the initial impression is, look, the AI is terrible and does awful things and it plays just like a regular game, it's just not going to lure people in. This is your one chance to bring in that new player. If it's a terrible experience, they probably won't even finish the campaign. They'll just quit the game and say, that Solforge is no fun at all. I tried that game. All right. Lastly, number 12, let's drop the ridiculous beta tag already. I realize Stoneblade is calling it beta because all the features aren't in. But it's been something like 2 years and 6 sets. People have invested thousands of dollars in the game. Beta at this point is a matter of semantics. Yes, all the features aren't in, but once you're 6 sets down the line, you're not in beta anymore. Hopefully with the new UI, with the new patch that saves Solforge, we can finally chuck the beta tag once and for all and just say, this is the game we've got. Everyone's already tried the game. When I tell people, hey, have you tried Solforge? They say, yeah. They don't say, well, I mean, I tried it in beta and I'm just waiting it out. It's, yes, I tried Solforge. So the sooner Stoneblade recognizes that beta does not actually matter for Solforge anymore, I think the better for them as a company, and then the better for all of us who play the game. So thanks for tuning in to Tiny Grimes Games, and hopefully some, if not all of these ideas will be reflected in the patch that saves Solforge, and I'll see you again soon for another video.